Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Two Bar Connections. I'm your host, Jesse, and
James. What's happening, everybody?
what is happening indeed? And oh my, what's that? Is that
Sunlight.
Is that sunlight? Oh my god! We're doing a daytime recording, a special, rare daytime episode, right? Where there's actual sunlight. We're not being a bunch of degenerates recording at God knows what hour.
Fucking the wee hours. That's what.
The wee hours of the night.
None of that.
Burn the candle, as they like to say.
Mm-hmm. Burning that midnight oil no longer. Now we're actually tanning while we record.
Yeah, well, I mean, not so much because it's kind of cloudy outside for me. It's been pretty cloudy this whole week.
Well, same here actually. It's actually been raining the past couple of days, which my climate that I live in is not supposed to happen. But
yeah,
how's the rain been hitting you?
Yeah, everything's been everything's doing all right. But before we get into all that, I just want to give a quick overview of the news that we're going to be going over today before we check in on each other as always. So
yeah,
it's not too many news, but definitely some very important stuff that's going on. We have Black Myth Wukong absolutely killing it in sales, making unprecedented number of sales and reaching a crazy level of popularity, not just here in the West, but actually in China. In fact, most of it is in China, but we'll get into that later on. But we have Concord, on the other hand, not doing too hot, doing even worse than we all expected, which is cataclysmic to say the least. And we also have the Osuka Studios, which is the studios developed the recent Visions of Mana game, being laid off pretty much entirely, and it's effectively closing the studio. We also have the sudden departure of Capcom legendary developer Hideaki Itsuno, who is leaving the company after 30 years. And then finally, of course, we have the most recent Nintendo Direct that was in August last week. But before we get into all that, how have you been?
Man, I've been doing much better. Work has been, well, life in general has just been really, really rough like the past couple weeks, but I'm finally starting to turn it around. So, but on the bright side, it's inspired me to start exercising every day, and I mean every day, because I have not been able to sleep. I had not been able to eat either. Like, I just have no desire for hunger. But it's better now. Now I'm actually getting hungry again, which is great, because that's like my litmus test for how bad things are going. So I'm glad that's better now. But I still am trying to sleep a little bit better. So I've been exercising every day to try and like make myself tired enough. I still have issues sleeping, not as much as I did. However, the gains are real, man. They're so awesome. God, it's so good. They're like, oh my God, life is pain. Oh God damn.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the mirror and shit. Yeah. Ooh, what? Maybe things aren't so bad after all.
Is that a peck I see? Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm fucking peacocking in the mirror and shit, like,
Nice pecs, King.
Yeah,
nice those guns.
So it's thankfully it's been good. It's been good in that front. And school wise, the application cycle just opened up for two more schools, and I already finished 90% of the application because I just ported over my old application.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I just need to send out letters of recommendation, and I think one of the schools needs to verify my employment with the hospital so that, because I guess they're really thorough. They can't just look at my resume and be like, oh yeah, you did this much time at, this hospital. They're just like, no. Put us in contact with the HR department and have them fill out this form. I'm like, okay, fine.
It's very thorough, okay.
Yeah, very thorough, but it's okay.
Yeah, you were telling me like how it's also kind of weird because one of the schools, like most of the schools, like let you do like anywhere between like 6 to 8 letters, but like one school in particular is only doing 3.
Yes, because ladies and gentlemen, he was on with me last night helping me because I wanted my application as like spick and span as possible, so I was asking dumbass questions. But usually schools will let you have like a lot of reference letters. Like the first one I applied to, They let me have a total of 8. They just had like certain requirements, like at least one of them has to be a supervisor, or someone that works with you closely, and stuff like that. But these two schools, it's like one of them is 3 and the other one's 4. So I have to be very particular about who I ask to write my letter. So, which takes the long list of people that I have, and now I have to shorten it and also pick which one of them will best suit me. So,
Oh, what do you think would be best so far?
well, I mean, one of them will be my charge nurse, because I work with him on a daily basis. Like every time I've gone into work, I would say like 90% of my time at work, he has been my charge, and
Ah, okay.
he's yeah. So and for those that don't know, a charge nurse
I do not know.
is
So
okay. No, no problem. Well, that's why I'm gonna explain.
that was my question right there.
Yeah. So you got nurses on the unit, and then you have a charge nurse, and essentially that person is, well, in charge of the nurses. So he makes all the assignments. He decides what patients you're gonna get. He is also your liaison for anything that you need or any questions you have. So, and to give any advice, like, hey, like something's going on with this patient, and this, and that, and he'll tell you, just try and like give him this or that, or yeah, we should probably call the doctor and stuff like that. So that is considered a position of management, which I did not know that.
Oh, I mean, you're
Which
matching people, so yeah, that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah, no, for sure. But I didn't know that they qualified because charge nurses, they're kind of like they're one of us. The way it's supposed to be is they'll always swap out nurses. So one of the one of us would be a charge nurse, 1 week and stuff like that. But the way that they work here is that they have nurses that are specifically full time charge nurses. So that's their main job. That's their full time job. They don't like see patients or
Okay.
have or take care of patients. Like that is their only job, is to do that. And then you have relief charges, which are, regular nurses that every once in a while, to fill in the gaps, because right now we're pretty short staffed even with charges, so we only have 2. So what they've been doing is they've been having charges work 4 days a week, and really you're supposed to do 3. But and of course, 3 days and 3 days is 6. So then you have an extra day that's unaccounted for, and that's when a relief charge comes in to just kind of like take over that one night or that one day, and then it'll go back to alternating between the two. Or if a nurse calls out, if a charge nurse like calls out, because they have emergencies too, that relief charge can then pick up that slack on that day if need be. So I have one in mind. He wrote me my letter for the others for the last school. So now I'm going to ask him again for this school. So he's definitely going to be one of the people I ask. But I really was thinking about talking to a director, like the director of my unit,
Okay.
or the one above. But the problem is, since I'm night shift, I do not interact with any of the management at all. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So, and I mean, and they're supposed to round at night as well, but you know how that is, dude. They're not gonna stay at night for very long. So I'm just trying to find someone that's like in an actual. I mean, it sounds awful when I say it, but an actual position of management. Because yeah, charge is technically management, but I was thinking someone like the director of the unit, or someone in that level, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Ah, okay. All right. And what about something been really busy, like too busy for gaming?
Yeah, I haven't touched a single video game, and my free time has been watching One Piece, because I've also started watching One Piece.
Yes, you start the journey.
Yeah, I started the journey. And you know what? It's fucking dope. It's a good show. I like it a lot.
That's good.
I mean,
How far
typic-
are you?
I mean, according to Crunchyroll, this is still the first season, but I'm already on the second like intro change. So that like animes, they change the intro from season to season. So I think what Crunchyroll did was just take 2 seasons of One Piece and mash it into one. Because I was getting one intro, and then from one episode to the next, it changed to another intro. So I was like, wait, is this a second season? And I look and no, Crunchyroll still says season one. So, I mean, I don't know, but according to the Crunchyroll listing, I'm on season one, episode like 40 something.
Oh, okay, wow. So
Yeah.
you still got a
I don't
long,
know.
long, long, long way to
No,
go, bro.
I know, I know. I got a long way to go.
It's
I
gonna
got a long
be
way to go.
it's gonna be like a years long endeavor because like my sister took like about a year to catch up.
Damn.
I think a little less than a year because she watched it like almost every day, so she was kind of nuts. She would watch like 2 or 3 episodes a day almost every day.
Yeah. Well, also because of your niece as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
She's
she
also a
likes the
fan?
show. She loves the show. She
Okay.
loves the show. She loves Chopper and she loves Brooke. Chopper's the I don't know if Chopper showed up yet, but
No, not
yeah,
yet.
he's like a little reindeer dude who wants to be a doctor, the world's greatest doctor. And then Brooke is like some
Ooh.
skelly man, but he doesn't show up until way later. Like you are hundreds of
Yeah.
episodes away.
I know, yeah. On Crunchyroll, the title screen for the show has like a whole bunch of characters. Like it has the original five, or well, like the original five. You know, like Luffy, Nami, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp, and there's a whole bunch of other characters like in the background. And it just, man, it's impressive. It's impressive how many more characters I'm gonna meet. It's gonna be
Yeah,
insane.
you're gonna be a lot. It's gonna
Yeah.
that the Straw Hats grow a lot.
Yeah, I'll bet they do.
It's like
So
it's bro, it's an RPG adventure, man. They just keep growing the party over and over again. Except the game instead of being a 100-hour RPG, it's like a 500-hour RPG,
yeah, 500-hour RPG.
and the devs keep updating it. It's like an early access, but like they just keep adding more shit.
No, for sure. But it's great. So I've been doing that with my free time, and yeah. So I have not been gaming. I've not touched Black Myth, and I'm not going to touch it anytime soon either because I started a class, that prerequisite class that I'm taking, the transition to nurse anesthesia. So I'll be doing that for the most part.
It's an intensive course.
I mean, it's essentially an overview of all of the sciences that are required for the program. So, general chemistry, organic chemistry, biochemistry, physics, all that crap.
Oh wow. Okay.
But as it relates to nursing anesthesia, but I've taken all those classes before. I'm just taking them again for this one school because they have a deadline, or not a deadline, but an expiration date on classes, and mine expire after this year's over. So,
Okay. I mean that sounds like a lot to me.
yeah,
How long is it for?
just it's a regular fall term class, so I'll be done in December, and
Okay.
the class is self-paced. So there's modules to complete, and they're all available. They're all available like day one. So, and you just have until a certain time, which I think is like December 16th, to finish all of them, plus the final
okay.
exam.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's self-paced. That way you can, keep up with your work, but then, do your work on your own time, your homework or your classwork.
Absolutely.
Anytime you need to. But man,
Yeah,
that's a shame
sure.
that you're gonna be so busy. I mean, you're all doing adulting stuff, so you got to make sacrifices.
Yeah, but I don't want to adult, man. I want to play games. Like I was watching Manny play World of Warcraft last night, and I was like, damn, I miss those days. I miss those days where I played a Blizzard game and it was fun. And now like now I don't want to touch any of them. I don't want to touch Overwatch. I mean, WoW looked interesting, but then started to look into it. I'm like, nah, no, never mind. I'm not. I'm not doing it.
What
Not
did you
doing
see? That
Well, no, it's just like there's just so much crap, and then also like the I was looking at videos because I like playing the Mistweaver monk, so so I was looking at like the build, like the meta build for this expansion and for this patch, and like it looks fun, but it just looked like a lot of work, and to be fair, I probably would have just end up buying a boost for the character just so I can catch up with Manny and then play with him. But I was like, nah, maybe later, but not now, not this year.
well,
Not this year.
MMOs, man, MMOs are so much work.
No, they are a lot of work, and but the thing is, it used to be work like for the sake of just doing it for funsies. Now it really does feel like an actual job.
You don't need two of those.
Wait, what?
Sorry, excuse me. And you don't need two of those. I was drinking
Oh,
some soda, so I'm a little got a little gas.
got
I got
gassy.
gas. Yeah, some
Right.
iron beer, bro. You doing better? You know, the best soda in the
Yeah,
world.
I believe that goes to Dr. Pepper actually, but
I mean,
whatever.
it's pretty much Cuban Dr Pepper, so. And Dr Pepper is just spicy root beer.
I don't know about that. I have to try. I have to try that again. I have to try root beer again.
Yeah, I actually don't really like root beer, which is funny because I love iron beer. It's like my favorite soda. So
Damn. Well, maybe it just hits that flavor profile just right.
yeah,
Um,
clearly.
yeah, clearly. But yeah, dude, that's been it with me. How have you been doing?
I've been doing all right. You know, it's funny that we're talking about school. That I've been thinking about going back to school myself, as I told you last night.
Yes.
I'm gonna prepare. I'm gonna see into an LSAT prep course because I started researching the LSAT again, and apparently this is crazy. They actually took out the logic game section. I did not know that, and I
Oh,
was like
wait.
so relieved when I heard that because I hated the logic game sections last time I took the LSAT, which was years ago.
What is the logic game?
Logic games.
I remember you told me before, but I kind of can you refresh my memory on that?
Yeah, so it's like a word problem where it's like they'll give you a scenario and you have to like logically figure it out. Like it'll be like okay, like there's a dinner happening and we have like 10 guests. This person likes to sit on the right side, this person likes the left side, this person doesn't like this person, but they like to sit next to this person, they like this kind of food, but they don't like this kind of food. Okay, now how do you arrange them, right? And then you have to kind of draw out a diagram and stuff and try and, figure it out and then you can answer it from there.
Oh,
It'll give you
interesting.
like a series of questions for it. Cause so first you have to like figure it out. You have to do the proper diagram for it. I mean, you could not do the diagram, but you'd be fucking nuts not to do it. So like, you do the diagram, you figure it out, and you're like, oh, okay. Then you start answering the questions based off of your diagram. The thing was that apparently the LSAC, the people who administrate the LSAT, were sued by some legally blind people because they said that it discriminated against them because they wouldn't be able to do the diagrams
Oh, damn it.
in
They
a
won?
timely manner. Even with time, like they were at a severe disadvantage. So they went to court over it and they actually won. Actually, well, I don't know if they won. I don't remember if they won or not. But either way, they changed it in response to it because even if they didn't win, they probably thought, well, this isn't worth the headache. Let's just change it. So they changed it
Well,
from
yeah.
logic games, so now it's going to be two sections of logical reasoning, one section of reading comprehension, and then of course the writing section, which they also changed as well. They changed it from more like an argumentative. They made it a bit more argumentative rather than just like a logical chain that you have to like write out for them. It's more like okay, just here's a premise, argue for it, right? That's pretty much it. And you actually can do it on your own this time. You don't have to do it at the site. It's actually opened up, and you can do it whenever you want.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, they give it
That's
to you
actually
like a week or two before the actual test, and you have until the test day to complete it.
okay, cool. Wow. So it sounds like they made it way easier now to take the LSAT.
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends. Like if you struggled with the logic games, it's gonna be easier for you. But a lot of people actually find the logic games very easy. Generally, people who are like more math oriented and stuff, because it's kind of
Yeah.
like an equation almost when you're drawing it out. So to them, it's like, oh, this is easy as hell. This is and logic games, admittedly, it's a lot of route learning. Like once you learn the steps, once you learn different type of games and you break them down to steps, you can then just take it from there, right? It's like math, right? You have an equation. It's like, okay, this is the steps you take to solve this kind of equation.
Yeah.
Very similar. But
Right.
I am not a math person. I was horrible at math. Every year, I would always get B's and C's and sometimes even D's in math. So like math was always my weakest subject. I just
Oh,
can't.
Lord.
I just can't think like logically in that sense. I can't. My mind doesn't organize things that way.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
So like anytime like I would nail the reading comprehension, I do okay the logical reasoning, and then logic game, right? Dead, awful. But so I'm thinking of taking a prep course, of course. Again, it's going to cost me $2K from what I've seen. It's about like $2,000. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. There's similar programs that prepare me for CRNA school, like that offer guaranteed acceptance, and yeah, that's like around $2,000 as well. So that, unfortunately, that sounds about right.
Yeah, isn't school expensive enough, man? Like just trying to get in, already paying a shitload of money. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's bad, but
Especially now,
that's
you and I as adults, it's harder now to get like scholarships because when you're 18, you're practically a kid. Right? You're just
yeah.
entering the early stages of adulthood, and they're like, "Oh, here's all this scholarship money and this financial aid." But when you're our age, right, it's like, nah, you're old enough, bro. You're a grown ass man.
Yeah, hop to it.
Hop to it, yep. Hop to it indeed. And well, on the gaming side, I did touch Black Myth Wukong. I played a little bit of it. I finished this chapter 1 and I started chapter 2. And it's a good game. It's a very, very good game. I really enjoy it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like I'm playing it on just the recommended settings.
Hmm.
And it looks great. Like sometimes it looks too good. Like everything is so hyper detailed that it kind of makes navigation a little hard sometimes. I don't know if you ever had that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it also helps that I think the level design isn't all that great. Things kind of feel slapped together. Because like when you make a level, you kind of have to signpost stuff for players, so you know like where to go, where they can go, and where they cannot go, what they can interact with, what they cannot interact with. And some game studios they kind of beat you over the head with it, and hold your hand, and some are a bit more subtle with it, right? But in this game, like it's so all over the place with the levels that it just feels like I don't know where the fuck to go sometimes, or I just get lost so easily.
Yeah. No, I encountered that same problem, especially with the excuse me, with the invisible walls that you've hit them, correct?
Oh yeah, I've hit them all right.
But they're like not obvious. Like there's areas where like especially like in chapter 1 with in the jungle, there's like a rock and it looks like there's a cave on the other side like of this little clearing and it's like, "Oh, okay, let me go explore that cave." And then bah,
Yeah.
you just like you're just jumping in place like uh, hop, like
Oh yeah, we use fucking monkey noise, confused monkey
yeah,
noises
little
here.
monkey. Yeah. So, and then in other areas like you will fall and you will die. So it's like what? It's so not clear what areas you're accessible and what are not. So I mean that's my only one complaint.
Yeah, well, outside
What
of that, the combat's pretty cool. I didn't expect the game to be such a boss rush game. Like it's pretty much like it's mostly bosses that you'll be fighting most
Yeah.
of the time. Like I say, like a good like 80% of the time you're gonna be fighting bosses, and then the other time you're gonna be like fighting basic enemies and exploring around, trying to find collectibles and stuff. Dude, there was one boss. You remember I think it's called the White Clad Noble.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that boss pissed me off. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is it so difficult all of a sudden? And then he has
Yes.
fucking second face. Like, what? Why?
Yes, dude. It's like oh,
He already beat my ass in the first phase. Although, funny enough, I felt the second phase would be easier because he wasn't as aggro. So I was able to just like charge up the heavy smash that you get.
yes.
And I would just charge it up, run around a circle, and just run up to him and then hit him with it over and over again. But damn, dude, I was on that thing for like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe even
bro.
more. I'm not sure. And then of course you have the big baby Buddha bitch in the
Oh yeah, the
beginning of
wandering
chapter
white.
1.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one white, the one that kills everyone. Apparently, that boss apparently kills everybody in chapter 1.
Yep.
He's like the tree sense in all the games, pretty much. That's how the people compare him to.
No, it's absolutely right. I lost my shit a lot on that boss.
And I already knew about it. Like, oh, okay, I'm not fucking with that baby Buddha, right? So I'm just gonna.
I didn't. I fucking went straight for him. I was like, oh, let me see if I can be. Oh my god, like the first like little like traveling boss of the game. Like, oh my god, let's do it. And then, yeah,
Then you got your ass beat.
I got my ass beat, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about perfect dodging and shit. So at one point, I was hitting those perfect dodges and very satisfying.
Yeah, some of these bosses they can be pretty tough, but it's very satisfying when you do beat them. Although the difficulty is kind of inconsistent. Like, so a lot of these bosses just roll over super easy, and then other ones are like, "What the fuck is this? This is so hard." Like, nothing has been harder than the White Cloud Noble, but there's been like a few that I definitely had to,
Yeah,
lock in.
I actually found him to not be that hard. I think the hardest boss the hardest boss that I've encountered so far. I think the black bear Guai.
Really? I beat him one try.
Not the black bear, but like his human form the first time.
Oh yeah, I saw you getting messed up, but yeah, I beat that in 2 tries, I think, 2 or 3
Yeah,
tries.
yeah. But I think there's harder bosses later, like in chapter 2 and chapter 3, were bosses that I found way harder. But all of like the mini bosses, well, mini, quote unquote, you know what I
Mm.
mean. But like those I found to be a little bit easier. But the bigger, the bosses are the they have a little bit of a difficulty spike. But I haven't found anything that I've other than the baby and the black bear first form. You're right. There hasn't been a boss that's been like frustrating to play.
No, yeah, the white clad nobleman. I swear to God. I was like, what the fuck is this? Why is this so hard? And it kind of highlighted that, man, this game kind of needs more defensive options, like as a baseline. I know you have that rock parry thing, but apparently
Yeah,
it fucking sucks. And it
it
just makes you
does.
feel like, okay, why can't I just block like normal? Like he has the spinny thing, he has a dedicated block for just projectiles. Why can't I also use that for like regular attacks? Like, it would have
Well,
been a lot
that's
cooler, like if there was also parrying like on top of it, like some Sekiro parrying. Like you want to copy so much of Dark Souls, man, or the Souls games, just or
dude. My
FromSoft. Like copy
Yes,
Sekiro
dude.
too. You're pretty much practically making a Sekiro game because this game is so fast paced.
Yeah, dude. And the parrying is my favorite aspect. Like honestly, I think that's why Liza P sits at the top as far as like my favorites, even though I haven't played a lot of Soul games, but just the parry mechanic, dude, once you mastered it, it just felt so fucking satisfying. And you'd think in a martial arts, yeah, and like you said, like, fast-paced martial arts, weapons type game, you'd think parrying would be a thing, but it seems they replaced that in favor of the dodging mechanic, which is still satisfying, but I don't know. You could have done both. You could have done both.
Yeah, very very weird decision, but still all around really enjoyable game. Now,
Yes.
funny
Very
enough,
enjoyable.
you saw me playing last night, man, but I got back on that Elden Ring.
Oh
I got
yeah.
back on that Elden Ring. I don't know what it is, man. Like I just felt like playing because I was still installed there, and I'm like, you know what? I still have my other character. Like I beat the game and the DLC with my second character. Let me go back to my original character, which is my caster. It's like my mage character. Although now
Yeah.
it's like a magic knight. Like I have a bunch of armor on. I have a big ass hammer. I just bonk people with over and over again. But it's an intelligence hammer, so it's like, oh, I'm a smart boy, but I'm also buff as fuck. I'm just gonna beat you with my big ass club that I pulled from the head of this boss. That also shoots lasers out.
Totally,
It's freaking
dude.
amazing. Well, it shoot lasers. You hit the ground on it, and then it shoots lasers out of the ground. It just knocks everything up in the air. It's super sick. Really fun weapon. But yeah, man, it's just there's such a addictive loop to Elden Ring because it's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go to this cave. Oh, cool. There's this item I have. I can use this item for my build. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me go to this dungeon. Okay, let me go. Okay, there's a boss here. Okay, let me fight this boss. Oh, hey, cool. There's another dungeon over there. There's one dungeon over there. And you just do that for like 5-6 hours straight. And it's like, oh shit, it's nighttime already. Been playing this game for like 8 hours or whatever. Hold on, you're lagging a little bit. Okay, are you back? Hello? Hello? Okay, and we're back. All right, so yeah, Elden Ring is absolute crack. It's an amazing gameplay loop where you're
Yeah.
constantly jumping from dungeon to dungeon and from boss to boss, and you're always getting like just enough to level up, and you get enough to like upgrade your weapon, and then you get a new spell, and then you get like a new Ash of War that you could use, and it just keeps going over and over again. So that's why I've been playing the game yet again. I'm my New Game Plus right now. I'm seeing how the DLC is with the New Game Plus, and it's actually not that bad. Like a lot of bosses aren't nearly as difficult as I remember them being, because the DLC, I actually did not like many of the bosses because I felt like they were just way too much of a pain in the ass to fight. Not that they were like too
I
hard,
mean,
but
I
I felt
know.
like they weren't very well designed. But I think like after learning them
Oh,
and playing
okay.
them again on New Game Plus, and kind of like learning the DLC and like learning where all the Shadow Tree fragments are the Shadow Tree fragments that increase all your stats that are pretty much necessary. It's not so bad. In fact, some bosses have actually kind of turned around on even. Some of them can still kiss my ass though. The golden hippopotamus can kiss my ass. The dancing lion can kiss my ass. But like Mesmer's fight and Rolana's fight, they're all pretty good fights. I've turned around on them. Rolana, I didn't care for Rolana too much when I first fought her, because I beat her in one try, and honestly, like my character, I just kind of unga bungaed her to death with my big ass hammer. So I just got a hammer and I just unga bungaed her. And then this time around, I actually tried fighting her, and it was actually a pretty fun fight. I felt like it was, for the most part, pretty fair fight. It was a good fight all around. Yeah, I'm only showing Renala because you don't know who that is, but yeah, she's Rolana. I'm sorry, because there's Renala and then there's Rolana, because freaking George R. R. Martin and his stupid naming conventions, where everyone has to have like similar beginnings to their names. But she's a really cool fight. Like she looks super cool moveset. Pretty manageable. Like nothing too crazy. Like a lot of these other bosses that have like the most fucking insane movesets ever. Like these impossible dodge attacks and spamming AoE. But she's a very straightforward boss. It's just a duel between you and her. So really fun fight. Really liked the round. You know what the cool thing is? Also, there's something called, and it's I hate that it's hidden, but it actually turns the game into like Sekiro. I don't remember if I told you this or not, but
no.
There's these field bosses in the DLC called a Furnace Golem, and they're pretty much like giant wicker men that when you kill them, they drop something called a heart tier, and the heart tier you can add it to your, what was it called? Physique of Wondrous Mix, which is a potion that you can use that gives you buffs. And it's a one-time use, but one of the hard tiers pretty much gives you Sekiro deflecting. So like if you block, you take like almost no damage, and you also lose like almost no stamina. And it also boosts your guard counter, which is like your R2 after you block. So immediately after you block, you can press R2, and it does what's called the guard counter. And it's like a heavy attack that you do, a special heavy attack that you do in response, and it'll buff it up every single time you successfully do like a perfect block. And it's really fun. I've actually beat the final boss of the DLC with it.
Damn.
And that's what I used to fight her. Like that combined with the fact that she's a good boss plus the deflecting hard tier made it really fun. And then the other fight that I kind of turned around on, which was the Mesmer fight. And Mesmer is the guy on the cover. He's like a big snake dude. He's got like snake buddy, like a little snake buddy on the shoulder. He's got like a big ass spear. He looks really cool, but like he was kind of a pain in the ass when I fought him. I don't know what it was, but like I just could not dodge his attacks for the fucking life of me. And like this guy used a summon. I did not use a summon when I first fought him. I used a summon this time around, but it was for a quest reasons. It wasn't because I wanted to do it. But even then, like he focused me 90% of the time, and the summon really didn't do all that much.
Oh yeah.
But this time around, he was a lot more manageable. See, he looks really cool, and like his second phase is also like really freaking cool, where he pulls out his eye, and then he's like summons like his snake buddies at like max power, and then you fight him like that. It's a really cool fight. I actually really liked it. And then of course like Midra, I also liked as well. I'm not gonna show you Midra because like I don't want to take too long on this segment. But Midra's like he's like a skeleton dude with like a flame for a head. He's like a fireball for a head. And it's really messed up because like when you first see him, he has like a sword stuck in his head, and then to transform, he literally pulls like it's like the sword out of his head, and his head comes along with it, and then he summons the fire that's like in his body. It's really gross and fucked up. You gotta see it. I'm actually gonna probably fight him next. So like if you stick around, we could probably stream it. You could see it because there's some really cool fights that you weren't watching when you're watching Warcraft instead. Like, even if you don't like the game, like, you can at least enjoy the spectacle of it, because that game has spectacle in spades.
Well, I do enjoy the spectacle. Watching you play is amazing, and actually inspired me to play. But I feel like I need to be by the hand, like, and get a grasp on how to properly play it.
Okay, well, the important thing is. Oh, look, my connection went to crap again. Yay. Okay, all right. So finally back. I think we'll stop sucking Elden Ring's dick. We can move on to the news before we have another fiasco with the freaking connection.
Well, the Chinese expected you to suck Wukong stick, but that's why they've been hacking our stream. But it's okay.
Why? Why would they? Okay. What?
Because they're like, oh, Wukong is great, but Elden Ring, I just can't seem to. Oh, I'm sorry, losing connection.
Oh,
Winnie did not approve of this
yeah.
behavior.
Winnie the Pooh. Xi Jinping the Pooh did not approve of our message.
Xi Jinping. Anyway, sorry.
All right. So for our first story, we have Black Myth Wukong, which has been absolutely fucking killing it in the sales. It is already one of the fastest selling games of all time, as it has made a record-breaking, eye-watering 10 million copies sold in 3 days, which is astronomical. Because to put things into perspective, Hogwarts Legacy sold 15 million in 3 months. Elden Ring sold 13 million in 1 month. Cyberpunk sold 13.7 million in 1 month. Baldur's Gate sold 20 million in 5 months, and Helldivers sold 12 million in 3 months. And on top of all of that, it has had 2.2 million concurrent players. Yeah, 2.2 million, right? Remember last time we talked about it, it was like 1.8 million. And it has been selling so well that even in China, people cannot seem to get their hands on PS5s anymore. Because according to a consultant, Daniel Camilo, Huang Qiangbei, I guess how you pronounce it, is the world's largest electronic market, and they literally cannot keep up with demand for their PS5 stocks because so many people are buying it.
That's fucking crazy. It's incredible. It really is incredible.
And yeah, I mean, you and I we're talking about it and absolutely loving it, but like it seems that China in particular loves it even more because I think, well, actually, according to analysis, most of the player base is in China. Like 93% of the Steam reviews are in simple Chinese, and the bandwidth was on Steam then reached 28 terabytes per second when the game was launched, and most of that was coming from East Asia, 82%. Yep.
It's crazy, and you can even tell by the Steam charts that it's all Chinese players, because literally like you'll see like it looks like a sine wave from math, like it just goes up and down, because people the Chinese market goes to sleep. And then look, see, and then when they wake up, they start playing.
Yeah. It's nighttime time over there, bro. It's like 13 hours ahead of us, like 12 hours ahead of us. So it's like the evening.
Yeah.
I don't know if they get Mondays off. I don't know how weekends work. I know it's a little different in China. I think they get Mondays off.
Do they have Labor Day?
They do not have. Probably don't. not on today at least. Probably if they do, it'll be like some Socialist Workers' Day stuff. But I don't think it's in September. But I know their weekends are a little different from ours. I think they get like Sundays and Mondays off, not Saturdays. But yeah, no, this game it's unprecedented how well this freaking game is doing.
Yes.
And it's kind of important for several reasons, because up until this point, like China was mostly all about like the mobile game market. Like they were all like mobile games. And anytime they tried to release, a more traditional premium price product, it was didn't get a lot of exposure, or it was really jank crap. I played my fair share of Chinese games on Steam. They're kind of crap most of the time. But this one is extremely well polished, very well made, absolutely beautiful, plays well, and it's just a technological marvel. Makes so much use of UE5. Like it's the first true UE5 engine game, because there's not that many out now, but this is the one that really uses everything to the max. And another reason why it's so important is because this shows that China can make pretty damn good games, not just in mobile gaming market, but just with regular traditional games. And it also shows that the Chinese market cares about games that aren't just on a phone. So this is going to lead to a lot of eyes turning towards China, just like how Hollywood sort of turned their eyes towards the Chinese movie market. Because it was they've outfucked us by like a billion. So there's like 1.3, 1.4 billion Chinese people. It's like 300 something billion of us, not including Europe and stuff. So like if you include Europe, maybe like 500 million. Still not even close to the top of the Chinese population.
No, I think we no, they have us beat by a wide margin as far as just by population size. It's incredible. It's crazy.
No, no, most certainly. Any thoughts? I've been talking a lot.
No, no. I mean, we more or less share the same mindset. I mean, we even talked about it off screen. Like, you know, this is a first time. This is essentially a launch title for this studio out of China, mostly known for mobile games, and it's great. And which kind of sets a good precedent. Like, okay, we got to pay attention to the Chinese game developers and see what they have going on. I mean, that's that's all there is to it.
Yeah,
And
it's
it really
great
just
that
highlight.
more global competition. Sorry, I interrupt you. What were you gonna say?
No, 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 absolutely global competition because a lot of game studios have kind of just been coasting on making mid shit, and hopefully, if there's new studios rising up to take the money instead of these people, maybe they'll start trying, or they can just finally just stop making games and leave the market entirely. Either or is fine. I would like it if they made better games because a lot of these studios were great at one point.
Who do you mean in particular when you say that? Any
Well,
studios
I
particularly?
mean, I mean, think about like games like Black Myth Wukong, and then now the Star Wars Outlaws that have come out, which is typical Ubisoft mid stuff, you know, and Ubisoft used to make good games, so I would like to see them do good games again. But of course, it's wishful thinking because a lot of these companies they don't care about the game or the games or the workers that make them. They just want to squeeze profits. So, but hopefully the competition will entice them to actually start being competitive.
Yeah, and
And
I'm sorry.
Star Wars
Continue.
Outlaws is just one. No, I'm just saying Star Wars Outlaws is just like one example of that. There's other games like we'll talk about it later.
Oh yeah,
There's another
another game that
game.
this next game that isn't really doing too hot. But also, just one other thing, like before we move on, also like South Korea is kind of like hitting the same trajectory as well
Mm,
because, as you know, Lies of P was made by a South Korean studio,
yeah, and I
and
think
Stellar
South Korea
Blade was also made by a South Korean studio.
yeah, the Asian market is rising.
Yes, they're rising indeed, man. Because it's only gonna be short amount of time before they're gonna be pumping tons of games out left and right as more and more people get more interested in joining the game industry over there.
Hmm.
It'll be very interesting to see how it all develops. But it's not developing well. So our boy, Sun Wukong is doing real well, but what's not doing real well is our buddies over at Firewalk Studios, the brand new Sony studio that made the recently released Concord, although you probably wouldn't know it that it got released because there was absolutely zero
It is.
marketing around this game, and what little reception it has gotten has not been very good. And in fact, it has had almost no reception at all, as it has struggled to reach just 700 players. As of the recording of this, they have 102 people playing currently, which is actually up from when I saw it earlier. It was like 90 something yesterday. But it has only reached a peak of 660, and that was at launch. And, we've been talking about perspective here. So to give you perspective, right? You got Suicide Squad and Redfall, two games that people agree is absolute crap, especially Redfall, one of the worst
Yes.
AAA releases like in a long time. And even that game managed to reach at least quadruple digits. And Suicide Squad, which lost WB a whopping $200 million earlier this year, reached five digits with 13,459 players. And so
Yes.
Concord has struggled to even reach that amount. And then if we look at the reviews, right, it's not doing much better. It's only got a 62 average Metacritic score and a 1.8 user dislike score.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, it's like the scale of like the failure of this is astronomical. Like,
It
no,
is.
everyone feels like, no, this is gonna fail, but god damn, like our expectations of you were low, but holy
But
shit.
holy, yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like that meme. I love that meme. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you saw the backstory behind it, but they actually this game was a part of I mean, I don't want to say it was crowdfunded, but they were raising money, and they raised $250 million to make this game. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Where'd you see that? I never saw anything about
I,
that.
I saw I was seeing Asmongold react to it,
Uh huh.
and there was a whole ass like timeline. Hang on, let me see if I can find it for you. But
There's no way
he
they spent $250 million. Although
no no
to
no, they didn't
add,
spend it, but they raised it.
that's okay. That's very strange. But yeah, so like 250 million, right? If they spent 250 million, if that's true, holy shit! Because in terms of sales numbers, they only sold, according to analyst Matt Pizzcasella, I'm sorry, Simon Careless, they only sold 25,000 copies between
Ooh.
Steam and PlayStation.
Yeah. Okay. So I have here. I mean, it's a Reddit thread, but it says here that yeah. So Firewalk. So plans started for this game 8 years ago,
Yeah,
but
8 years to build this game.
yes. However, Sony purchased Firewalk last year and well partnered with them 3 years ago in April 2021, and then they actually bought them recently. However, before Sony, Firewalk was a part of another company called Probably Monsters, and my mistake. They only raised 200 million. That was supposed, yeah. So they raised $200 million for
What
this
the
game.
fuck? How?
And so yeah.
I mean, it's a good looking game. It looks polished, but like 200 million? If that is true,
Yeah.
wow. Like that's this just goes to show like these AAA games are getting way too fucking big, man.
Yeah.
They're taking way too long. They spent pretty much a decade building this game and shelling out an alleged $200 million for it, all so
Yeah.
that they can get 25,000 in sales unit numbers. They can get 25,000 unit numbers in sales, and have a player base that peaks at 660 on Steam, and God knows how many on PlayStation, because there's no PlayStation numbers at this time, but we know that at the very least, 15,000 people bought it on
Yeah.
PlayStation
I
5.
think Yeah, I think as far as how many units, I believe it was 20, was it 25,000 or 2,500? It was one of those numbers.
What? 25,000
Like units, right? Yeah.
units sold, yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
units.
that's an estimation. We're not going to know for sure, but that's according to this analyst here who works for GameDiscover.co newsletter. And according to Circana analyst Matt Piscatella, according to their player engagement tracker, Concord ranked at 147th in US PS5 daily active counts across all titles. It didn't even break top 100, like let alone
Yeah.
top 50 or top 10, right? Because most new games, you would expect to be somewhere within the top 10, maybe the top 20 if they're not like doing super super hot, but they'll be somewhere up there. But my God, 147th place, and damn, dude, just wow. The story behind this game is wild, and it's another L for Sony because
Yeah.
Bungie has not been doing too hot, at least financially. You have the Final Shape was apparently a super good expansion, like fixed like so many problems to make the game great, but they just have been hemorrhaging players for years, and they've had to make cuts over and over again due to mismanagement of funds, mismanagement of products, spreading themselves way too thin, making them way too many games all at once. And now
Yeah.
Sony bought Firewalk, and now they pretty much just got an expensive paperweight of a studio, and just accumulated like all this debt. Essentially, probably just got indebted for this. Just to buy a studio that released a game that can't even sell 100,000 copies. It sells just a
Oh.
quarter of that.
Yeah. Oh, I found it. Probably on the Probably Monsters website, they actually have the timeline that I was referring to. So 2022 Series A fundraising closed at 250 million, the largest raise in video game history. Closed year with a 65% growth rate, and then in 2023, after successful years of incubation, Firewalk joins PlayStation, and then 2024. Well, I mean, you know, so the company that Firewalk was with previously raised 250 million. So I think that's where that number was at. But it's safe to say, I mean, this was the game that they were making. but the announcement but the PlayStation partnership was done in 2021.
Wow. Okay.
So between 200 and 250 million allegedly, but it's looking like that's an accurate number.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know much about probably Monsters. This is news to me, so like, I haven't looked much into it. But
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I'm sure.
you spend 8 years on anything, you're gonna spend a lot of fucking money on it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
even if it's not 250, 200 million, they spent a lot of money on this, and they're gonna lose way more because nobody is buying this game at all. Nobody's even interested in this game. Like from day one, everyone was kind of doggy on this game from the very beginning. And everyone's like, "Oh man, this game's gonna bomb. We're tired of hero shooters and stuff." And a lot of times the games, they beat the odds. They get a bad reception or trailer, and they come out and they're actually pretty good. Like I remember when the Prince of Persia trailer came out for the Lost Crown. People were like, "Oh, this isn't Prince of Persia. Why is he black? This is woke, whatever." And the game came out, and everyone shut up real quick. Like, it didn't sell amazing, but it sold like what it needed to, and it sold enough, and it did what it needed to. And Concord didn't even reach anywhere close to that. And according to the analysis on the IGN article, also they attributed to, I mean, pretty obvious stuff. Attributed to weak marketing, right? Because there was pretty much no marketing about this. Like, did you know this game was coming out?
Honestly, just from like the meme channels making fun of the game because of how it looked, but it didn't look interesting to me because I already had my fill of hero shooters.
Okay. Yeah, but did you know, like, it was coming out? Like,
That
even
when it
before
was-
then? Did you know, like, when it was coming out?
oh,
Or
oh
any
no,
trailers
like
for
then
it?
when it was coming out, nah, I had no fucking idea when it was coming out. So
Right. Then on top of that, you got the high price point, right? They wanted to pull a Helldivers where they charge $40 in a genre of games where most of them, or pretty much all of them now, are free to play at this point, right? Overwatch is free to play, Apex is free to play, Valorant is free to play, Paladins is free to play. I imagine the new Deadlock game, the new Valve game, which is also like a hero shooter slash MOBA hybrid, is also going to be free to play, most likely. Pretty much, actually, like 100% guaranteed it's gonna be free to play. Yeah, and they come out here releasing, "Oh, you have to pay $40 to maybe try and like this game, see if you like this game."
yeah,
And then on top of all that, the game just didn't really look very interesting. It didn't do anything to set itself apart from any of the other hero shooters. It kind of looked like Destiny PvP, which is not shocking because most of the devs are ex-Bungie developers. So, they would lean on what they know, make it look like Bungie, make it look like a Destiny game, have it play like a Destiny game. But, it's not enough in this market.
it's not. It really. God, what a mess.
Yeah,
This game was though.
and it also shows, when you chase trends, because this game started development 8 years ago, right? And what came out 8 years ago in 2016? Overwatch, right?
Yeah.
And Overwatch pretty much took over the entire world, and it showed like, hey, hero shooters are like the new shit now. Everyone wants to make a hero shooter, and Firewalk was like, oh, we can make a hero shooter too. And then they took 8 years to make a new hero shooter, and there's so much competition now that you really need to up the ante. I mean, if this was released 4 years ago, I doubt this would have gotten nearly as much hate as it does now. I don't know how successful it would have been, but it definitely would have been way more successful than it is now. But 8 years, practically a whole decade, a whole generation of games has been released between Overwatch and now.
Well, sorry, there's just not much more to say. we kind of said everything. The game is selling awfully, and Sony is going to pay for it. Especially, I guess, man, they must have really thought this game was going to do well because they went ahead and just bought the studio.
Right. So what do you think? Over, under a year before the game closes?
Well, I mean, Suicide Squad lasted this long, so
Still going? Well, actually, no. They did drop support of it, yeah. So, and that was less than a year. So, okay, over, under 6 months.
just over 6 months.
Just over, okay. Over, under a year before the studio closes.
You know what? Between 6 months and a year. Let's do that. Gentleman's bet.
All right. Between 6 months and a year, okay, the studio will close down, which will be very, very unfortunate for them. Man, could you imagine being the guy who worked 8 years on something and it only got 25,000 people playing it?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be that
Like
guy.
that's gotta be like one of the
But
worst feelings in the world.
it must be. But actually, there were a couple stories actually that I think one of the lead makers, like the one of the lead designers, was talking shit on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
He was
yeah.
like, "Oh, this
I
game's not bad."
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Like people were like giving constructive criticism, like, "Hey, man, like this game is not that good. I'm real sorry. Like like you worked so hard on something and it turned out to not be good." And he was like, "Nah, fuck them. They're haters. They don't know what they're talking about. If they don't like it, then the game's not for them." It's like, wait, what are you talking about? the game, they're not haters. The game is just not good. So yeah. So I know he was fighting with people on Twitter. So, but again, everyone fights with each other on Twitter. Like, who cares?
No, no,
But
yeah, yeah. Twitter's not a not the friendliest places to be in.
it ain't the friendly. It ain't the friendliest places.
Not even the best days. Well, you know what's another not so friendly place? That is Osuka Studios, which is a small studio that's owned by NetEase, and they released the recent Visions of Mana game,
Mm.
which came out about a few days ago, actually. So barely a week after this game came out, all right, they have all been laid off at this point by NetEase, and the reason for that is apparently misaligned expectations. So you see, so you see NetEase and Tencent, who I think also own a stock in them too, are like, yeah, we want you to make like all the money, and they're like, no, we want to make small games, and we want low risk games, and we want to make some money. Like, no, you better make all the money. Oh, your game didn't make all the money immediately. Yeah, you're all fired. Which this is
Fired.
it's a shame, dude. It's a huge trend of studios being laid off. I mean, now at this point, like you launched the game and now you're immediately just fired.
Yeah.
And we're not going to cover it today, but they just recently announced, like today or yesterday, that the Ready at Dawn studio, I mean, not Ready at Dawn, the Until Dawn developers are all being fired pretty much before the game even comes out. Like we've
That's
actually reached
crazy.
this point where people are being laid off and made redundant before your game even releases. Any
That's
thoughts?
awful. Dude. No, it's just, man, it's just another. It's just the trend is getting worse. They, and it's funny because considering how much Tencent and NetEase like own, you know, you think they make decent money off of what they're off of their properties already, and they can just leave a few studios to kind of just do their own thing. But no, I guess they want to squeeze all of everything from each individual studio, you know, and it's kind of scary because in a way, as much as like as much as I love the Trails series, Falcom is not a big, it's not that big, like
They're
they're kind
very
of like
small,
these.
yeah.
Yeah, they're a small studio like, oh fuck, I forgot what was their name again?
What?
The name of the studio that Visions of Mana.
Oka Studios.
Osuka Studios, they're kind of like them. They have a specific game in mind that they like to make, and they want to keep making that game, and they've found success in making that game, and not just the Trails series, but also the Yeast series as well. Like we talked about it with Manny, and
Yeast nuts.
he's not. but but it's a shame, And I kind of hope that they can stay independent and not be bought out by a bigger studio that'll just come in and and just shut them down when they're a penny short of their expected profits, which is infinity apparently. So it's sad. It is sad.
No, I mean the benefit of Falcom is that they're independent. So as long as they stay independent, they get to just call their own
Well,
shots
yes,
and set their own
yes, but
expectations.
yes, that's what's great, but that's not always the case. Like for every one independent Falcom, we have a bunch of Iokas, or look at all the independent studios that were bought up by Microsoft only to be shut down like, 1 or 2 years down the line. Like these big companies are buying up properties to try and promote their own brand or their own game systems, only to be like, oh no, oh crap, all right, well, sorry, but we really want, like you always say, we really need that bonus, so we're gonna have to cut you loose.
Well, they're trying to pump up their value, is what it is, right?
Well, that too, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking in terms of Xbox, like, but Tencent seems to be similar in their goal of just pumping up their value, except this time, you know, through games instead of trying to promote like a console or something like Xbox or Sony would do. Um, but still, awful.
Yeah, and it's also scary considering that Tencent and NetEase are pretty much the Chinese gaming industry. Like they're the two top companies over, especially Tencent. I mean, Tencent's a conglomerate, so they have their fingers in every single pie you can think of. But NetEase in particular, they're freaking huge. Like they're the ones who are publishing pretty much all the Blizzard games in China, because in China it's illegal to publish anything that's not with a Chinese company. Like you have to publish through a Chinese company within China.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the only way you can get your game to be sold there. And these guys, they hold a huge amount of power. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, now that we're on that topic, it's kind of a miracle that Game Science published their own game, like the creators of Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yeah,
they didn't publish through Tencent or NetEase, did they?
No. Actually, I think they're independent.
Yeah, they did their own thing, which is crazy. But
that is crazy
good for them.
I mean, luckily it paid off because they sold 10 million copies in 3 days. God only knows how much it's gonna make by the end of the month.
Yeah,
and then by the end of the year, we'll see.
Yeah. It's a boon for Sony too. That's excellent marketing. Oh my God, demand is high for PS5.
Oh. Yeah. So he's doing a dance right now because of Concord not doing too hot. They're like, oh, okay, thank God she sold some PS5s.
Thank God the China market is gonna really save our ass.
China's gonna save us.
But yeah, dude.
All right, so let's move on to our next story. So,
indeed.
All right. So James, you like Capcom, right?
Are you kidding me? Capcom has been on the fucking banger train these past couple of years.
Okay, but do you know a Hideaki Itsuno who works at Capcom?
That name sounds familiar, but I'd be lying if I said if I knew that was.
Well, okay, you may not know his name, but you do know his games, as he worked on the recently released Dragon's Dogma 2.
Ooh.
So this is kind of like his baby. This and Dragon's Dogma 1 are like his passion projects. And he also worked on games such as Star Gladiator, which is a game that came out in the 90s. Like, so if you're an old, 90s Capcom fighting head kind of person, you know him from, Star Gladiator. You'd also know him from Power Stone 2, which is actually a game that came out on Dreamcast. And it's kind of like Capcom's version of Smash Brothers. You can see it's kind of a crazy looking game. And he also worked on Devil May Cry games, Devil May Cry 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see that, this guy has quite the resume on him.
Oh.
And unfortunately, he is going to be leaving Capcom. So all of that, that amazing legacy he's going to be leaving behind as he leaves Capcom after 30 years of employment with them. Okay.
But you were talking about the Devil May Cries were essentially, his to play. And I like Devil May Cry. I was also interested in Dragon's Dogma 2. I haven't picked it up though because of the I know that it had a lot of performance problems on release, so I was gonna wait a bit before picking it up to see if it was to make sure it ran better later on.
Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention he worked on Capcom vs SNK 2, which was a very popular fighting game in 2000, and it's actually going to be, or 2001, and it's actually going to be re-released in the recent newly announced fighting game collection for Capcom. But we'll get into that in a moment. So yeah, this guy has a huge legacy behind him, like tons of games that people absolutely love that he has made. It's really interesting because he he worked on those early fighting games, but like when he got his directorial debut, like his solo directorial debut, was during Devil May Cry 2, interestingly enough. And the reason why that's interesting is because Devil May Cry 2 was an absolute shit show. The development of it was nuts. They essentially started development of it before Devil May Cry 1 even finished. And they got the arcade team to work on it. And, because at that time, this is like, early 2000s. So Capcom still had dedicated arcade teams that made arcade games. And this studio never really made a console game. So, like, the whole time that they're making it, like, they have no idea, like, how to make it. And Devil May Cry 1 didn't come out yet. So they didn't really know, like, what they were making. They kind of look and see what they were making. They can see what the Devil May Cry 1 team was making. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we could do something like that. And, well, the reason why this game is so maligned is because, well, it has really shit level design, and the game's super easy. You can pretty much play the whole thing with just your guns. The guns are crazy overpowered. And also, Dante barely talks in the game. And Dante is a very famous smack talker. Like, he's that's what people love him for, that he loves to just talk shit, and he just taunts his enemies all the time, and he barely talks in this game at all. So the original director was actually kicked off the project because he was doing so poorly, and they replaced him with Itsuno. And Itsuno, like, just stapled this game together with, like, bubblegum and glue.
And glue.
And he just tried to pump this out, like, as best as he could, because Capcom was tired of waiting to release this game.
No, of course. And did he end up? And did it ended up being, somewhat good or?
No shit! And I just told you, everyone hated it.
No, I was just making sure. Like, maybe after the history lesson, they're like, I guess the game could have been way worse than it was now.
I mean, you can only imagine how much worse it would have been. No, the game was shit. You can only imagine how much it would have been if they released it like as they originally had it.
Other state. Yeah. Okay, I get you now.
So then from there, he was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna have to redeem myself, right? I'm gonna have to do another Devil May Cry game, because I am not gonna let this be my legacy. I'm not gonna let this be my debut. And that's when he worked on Devil May Cry 3, which is considered to be the freaking peak of Devil May Cry games. Like, this is considered to be the best one. And then number 5 would be like right afterwards. But people absolutely love this game. Funny enough, though, this game, when it was originally released, it was actually deemed too hard. So they actually re-released a new version of it that was like significantly easier and like had different difficulty modes and stuff. But yeah, this game was him, and then he also worked on Devil May Cry 4, and of course Devil May Cry 5, which is a great game, released back in 2019. It's the only Devil May Cry game I played, but it's a great game, and I definitely wouldn't mind playing this one as well. And then of course he moved on to Dragon's Dogma and Dragon's Dogma 2, which are pretty much his passion project. Like, that's the game he's always wanted to work on.
Okay.
Now, it's sad that he's leaving, but he does say that he is going to be working on the games.
He was going to work on something else.
Yeah, he said in a tweet, which I apparently lost. I don't know why this happens, but he said, yeah, don't worry, guys. Like, I'm still going to make games. I'm still going to be around, but I'm going to try and do my own thing, pretty much.
Yeah, I have the quote here. It says, it's in the article. I will start developing a new game in a new environment. I hope to create fun, beautiful games that are as memorable or even more memorable than the ones I've created so far. Please stay tuned for my next creation.
Okay, that's great.
Very nice.
Good. All right, thank you for that.
No
Because I had the actual tweet open, and then I don't know what happened. Google Groups is weird. I lose my highlights. I lose my tabs. It's a little annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
But, best of luck to Itsuno-san. Great developer. He's made some great freaking games. Whatever he's making is probably going to be really good. Like, the guy knows how to make action games. So if he makes an action game, you know it's going to be good. If it does something different, it'll probably still be good. It'll definitely be interesting to see. Really.
Indeed.
It's actually kind of dark in here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The sun's dropping now.
Well, and it's cloudy too, so it's going to be darker than it would usually be. So we're doing good on time. Doing pretty good on time. I don't know how long it's going to be now, because we have to stitch this together. It was like 45 minutes, 7 minutes, then it cut off again, and now we're like at the 37-minute mark. So we'll see how long
Don't
this
worry.
goes.
We'll be okay. It's gonna be just fine.
All right, so for our
Oh man,
final story.
you left that just for me.
Well, it's a happy coincidence.
Happy coincidence. Fuck yeah, happy.
So we have for our final story the recent Nintendo Direct that was released on August 27th, 2024. And this was it's a bit of a smaller, more modest showcase. It's an Indie World showcase, and they also had some partners that they showed with, so pretty much third party at this point. So nothing super spectacular. But you know what? Everything can't be the last one, right? Where they just pull their dick out and just dumpstered all over everybody, right? With those huge announcements of, a new Legend of Zelda game where you play as Zelda, and Metroid Prime 4, and more, and the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, a game that hasn't been, seen on the market in like 20 freaking years, being re-released in a bundle. So this one's, a bit more modest. Nothing super crazy revealed, but there was one thing that you and I will both be very interested in.
Indeed, very, very interested in.
Yeah, it was kind of shown in a blink and you'll miss it. It was
literally, yeah. I was just about to say it's a blink and you'll miss it. More.
That
one. Wait, too far. A little bit back. There you go.
Yeah. So then Nintendo was all like, "Oh, hey, we got some third parties here. So you like Japanese RPGs? Well, we got one here, right?"
We got one here.
And this one was an amazing surprise because
yes, yeah, it was.
So we're gonna go over as many games as possible. Let's go over this one first because this is probably the biggest one, the most interesting one for us both. That is a remake of Trails in the Sky, the first, which is from the Legend of Heroes series that James turned me on to, and it seems like this early entry is getting the remake treatment, which has been all the rage these days. Although I never thought Falcom would hop on it.
Yeah, well, I know that they it's been rumored, but nothing has been confirmed. But
here's your confirmation right
here. Yeah, there's confirmation, right? Exactly. So yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I of course am pretty happy because the first three Trails games, Trails in the Sky, it was like top down sprites. And now it's, fully 3D, just like the recent games have been. But now it's just going to be... Oh, well, that's not it.
That's not it. No, wait. What the hell is that?
Don't pay no mind. That's the only bad thing about the showcase for this. It was like literally 2 seconds of Trails. But essentially, it's going to have the 3D environments, and... we just don't know if it's gonna have the combat from Trails into Darkness, where you can initiate combat immediately and swap between real time and turn based. So we don't.
Actually, I think it might be turn based because let me slow it down for you. Let's do a replay. Let's play that in slow motion, shall we? Where the heck is the playback speed? Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, help me out with that. Oh yeah.
Oh yes. My totally not blood-related sister, who I will enter a weird romantic relationship with. Yeah, so you can see now it's no longer a top-down game. It's full 3D models, 3D environments. And right here, you see... Oh, she missed. How the fuck she missed? Right, so right there.
She whiffed that shit, yeah.
Let's go back. Yeah, see, so I think it's going to be turn-based because you see she hits and then initiates the turn order right here. So you see the classic turn order UI instead of that fucking monstrosity they have in Trails Through Daybreak that I just cannot read at all.
Well, no, because it shows them there.
Yeah, there too.
Well, no. So if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, there's a wheel of the different attacks that you can do, but it's present outside of combat.
Good point.
Yeah, so go back just a smidge, if possible.
Yeah, I can see.
Crap! Wait, are you showing the game?
Oh,
sorry, folks.
No, it's here. Yes, I'm showing it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But yeah. So you see,
Yeah, I see it there. Yeah, I see it there. So
yeah.
maybe they give you like a way to initiate it. Like you have different ways to initiate it.
Oh yeah, like you can initiate with an art instead of a regular attack.
Yeah,
Okay.
that could be interesting. And then like maybe like depending on the enemy, you want to change your approach so you can get an advantage. So like
Yes.
if you do a melee attack, it won't give you an advantage. But like if you do an art, it will give you an advantage. But since it's an art, you kind of have to charge it up,
Yeah.
and you use magic for
Okay.
it.
I see that. Honestly, this UI looks way better than
Oh, yeah,
than,
so much better than Daybreak.
than
Oh my
Daybreak.
god. Yeah, Daybreak's ah.
Yeah, fucking Ewok. But yeah, dude, I'm very, very excited. Very, very excited because I played the original just to learn the story of the world and also to where it started. And these games were critically acclaimed. So I was like, you know what? Fine. Like I'll get past like the 2D sprite models and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it turns out like yeah, the story's fucking dope. Like it's great. It's so so good that it succeeds in spite of the 2D sprites. But now with this updated combat system and updated visuals, I think this is the. It's so far it looks like it's going to be the best way to play the original, and you know, I hope that they remake all three. But
Fucking
they're probably
Ewok, get
just
out of here.
yeah. I just hope they I hope this sells well so that it can incentivize remakes for the others.
Yeah, because there's first and then there's second and then there's like the third one, but the third one's like kind of different.
The third one is technically a sequel, but it focuses on another character and not these main two. So and also it plays like the Trails in the Sky third. I think I've told you it plays like a greatest hits thing because it shows like a lot of like flashbacks and backstories for like all the characters and stuff like that. So
Ah, okay.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
all
I
right.
mean, there is a story to it, but you know, it has that.
Well,
And
the
yeah,
showcase
so
started off with the indie showcase, and oh wait, let me change the speed about.
no,
And they
yeah,
started off with Bolotaro is getting a Witcher crossover, which is very surprising. That's like wow, okay, this was not on my bingo card. But I guess in hindsight, it makes sense because of Gwent is super popular in Witcher.
dude, I can't believe how popular Gwent is. A freaking in-game card game spawned its own like spin-off and shit. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And to be fair, Gwent is addictive. Like I remember when I was playing Witcher, the Gwent. I spent a lot of time playing Gwent, and I actually there's a quest to collect all like the rare cards and shit. And if you don't get certain cards at certain times, some people like disappear from the game or actually get killed off, and you can't get those cards anymore. So
Oh damn, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
But
shit,
it looks
I
like
did
they're
not
getting
know that.
crossovers with everything.
Yeah, they're getting
Yeah,
crossover. It's like, oh yeah, we get you like crossovers, right? Well, we got Witcher, we got Vampire Survivor, we got Dave the Diver, we got Among Us,
we got Among Us.
we got all the freaking crossovers. Yeah, it's amazing to see this game doing so well. This was an indie game that was made by one dude, right? And I'm so glad that Geoff Keighley really highlighted this game among others that you can be successful in the game
Yeah,
industry and you can just do it all by yourself. You just need a good enough idea and some technological know-how, and you can make your own game and sell a lot of it. You don't need to
yeah.
be with this big ass company. They'll probably stab you in the back so they can save $1.
Oh, absolutely. And even with places like Steam, it's very easy to publish a game on your own without having to go to like you said, a greedy publisher.
And the next game they showed this was an interesting one. So we did talk about this briefly in a while back. This has been in other directs and showcases and stuff. I think it was on one Summer Games Fest, but this one is Neva or Neva. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Spanish, so Neva. Just
Oh,
like
okay.
this is the wolf game where like you have a girl who finds like a little baby wolf and like antlers and stuff, and you can travel around the world as a wolf and go like by levels. And apparently the wolf like grows. Like you can see the wolf grow more and more. And these are also the same developers of Gris, which is a beautiful platformer. And you can see, look, the artistry behind this game is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, look at that, dude. This looks so beautiful. And it's so smooth looking. So this game actually had its release date announced, and it's going to be coming out in October 15th. Oh wow, it's perfectly synced. Holy shit! Come on, October 15th. All right, thanks, Gabe. But yeah, this game actually looks really cool. I wouldn't mind playing it. It's being made by a Spanish studio, interestingly enough. And then they showed off, this game. I don't know what this is, Mauve Qubit, which I don't really know what kind of game it is. It seems to be like a. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's a weird ass game. Okay, you play this little moth, and you're going through like this office of ants and stuff. I have no clue what's going on.
It looks like an Undertale type game.
Yeah, maybe it is. Except you play as a little moth with like your little insect buddies in an office for some reason. Then cafe game, right? Now let's skip over that. Let's go to the interesting stuff. So this is really interesting to me.
Yes, absolutely. Because this. Did you ever finish this game, by the way?
Yes, I did. I did. And I loved it. It made my list. It made my top games of the year list.
Yes, it did. I remember now.
And yeah, it's an absolutely great game. And it is getting some free DLC, and it's going to be part of a free update, which is also going to include 3-player co-op.
Oh, no way!
Yep, this game is officially going to be getting some co-op along with the DLC. And the DLC will come with a new area that comes with like a new quest line. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the train. Yep. Definitely not a Final Fantasy VI reference. Definitely not a Final Fantasy VI reference. Nope. Can't be a Final Fantasy VI reference. You fight a fucking train. But I digress, right? So you get new quest line, new companion, you get new weapons, like a new character classes that you can switch between, new villain, new story and stuff. And on top of that, it's going to be co-op. So you can actually play the main game co-op, and you can play the DLC co-op as well. What the hell is this? It's Power Wash. Okay.
It's about Power Wash with the new expansion DLC.
I feel like is it just me, or it's like every Nintendo Direct have a new Power Wash update? I feel like every time I see like one of these digital showcases, it could be literally any company, and there will be a Power Wash presentation. Power Wash should just be like, hey, we have Shrek now, we have Final Fantasy. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, we're going to get Power Rangers next. Or something like that. You include the freaking Megazord.
But hey, Shrek is love. They made a hell of a move acquiring the Shrek licensing for that.
Yeah, but what do you think about the look of Sea of Stars, man? Does it pique your interest now that I told you it's co-op?
Honestly, yeah. Because I do like games like this, but I know this was always more up your alley. But if it's co-op, I'll be willing to give this game a shot. But I'll probably have to buy the base game. Oh wait, no, you're right. You said the DLC was free, so yeah.
Yeah. So you only have to buy the base game.
Okay, but would I have to beat the base game?
I don't know. They never said anything about how the DLC works. We have no clue how it works so far. But we can play the whole thing co-op, so like you can just let me know, hey, I want to play this thing with you. All right, let's play it.
Oh wait, is it the DLC that's co-op?
Everything is co-op.
Oh, you see, that's
everything is co-op.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that. It's a mini game. so like every attack in the game has like an associated mini game, and they're going with like a circus theme this time around, which is kind of weird. But we'll see how it fits. But you can see here. Wait. Yeah, you can see like he's guiding. He has to like chase the ball and bounce it so it hits the enemies. Most of the time it's like button presses. So you have to press a certain button at a certain time. But now it seems like they're going to be implementing movement in there, which is a very interesting twist to it.
I see.
Play back normal speed and Power Wash. Right, so we got Power Wash.
Just let it play. Be like Shrek. What are you doing in me swamp?
It's filthy, bro. I gotta clean this up. Although I wonder why it's all like rainbowy and stuff. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of weird because like the swamp is already dirty, so I guess they were like.
But why is it like rainbow colors? Like it looks like someone graffitied it.
I don't know.
Or like someone just massacred a bunch of unicorns. And they just spread their blood all over the place. But this other one is actually interesting. This is a comedic dating simulator called Date Everything, where every object in the game can be dated, and they're all sexy. So that was a towel right there. That's the vacuum cleaner.
Oh my
So you can literally
god.
just date every house you door to see.
The fucking cabinet.
You can date a sexy cabinet. Shelly Shelf, date a sexy shelf.
Who's Doug?
Doug, I have no idea, but he's fucking shredded. So as you can see, the game really doesn't take itself too seriously.
Honestly, dude, as weird as it sounds, I'd play this.
Yeah, right? Because it's just so crazy that it's like, okay, I have to give this a try.
Yeah.
At least. I think it's just a little try. Right. So you get femboy, I don't know, lamps? I think it's a lamp. It's probably a lamp. Oh, there's a lamp. There's a lamp right there. Oh, hey, a text box.
Wait, what?
Okay.
A what? Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow.
Hairpins? Bobby? That's a little on the nose.
Ah.
A towel. You can date your towel. Date your clock. The cat boy.
The cap. Okay.
Your laundry. You can date your laundry. Your hamper.
Hey, listen, man. I was just about to say, wait a minute. Where are the female options? Because I was like, it seems a lot of them were just femboys.
No. You got female options here. You got your hamper.
The hamper.
Yep. The text box was a chick too.
The text box. Oh yeah. Was it? Yeah.
I think so. I hope so.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not gonna. No, Chan.
You know what? It looks like a girl to me. It's close enough.
It's a Chan. Isn't that supposed to be? Oh no, wait. Chan is.
I think it's for a girl. Right? So yes, I think you're fine. See, window lid.
Okay. So it is. Tyrell. That's pretty cool.
Then you have Peglin, which just looks like a pickles game actually. Huh, interesting. Okay. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you play Peggle?
No.
Oh, because you should look at it. It's a really fun game. Oh, it's like Peggle, but like you fight monsters. Oh, interesting.
And then that's your damage. Interesting. Okay, cool.
Okay, Peglin. That seems interesting. And you play as Yoda. Apparently, it's Yoda playing Peggle. And oh yes, this one. Do you remember Pico Park where you played it at?
Oh, yeah.
Well, apparently it's.
I played Pico Park with Aislinn, but I know you guys played it at the bachelor party, but I was on the couch with a headache. I wasn't drunk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You fell asleep. Yeah, you went to sleep for a little while.
Well, I had slept off a headache because, bro, that shit that Rohan gave us was just awful. God, never again.
I don't remember what he got. I just know it was super.
It was dirty. It was disgusting. I can't drink that. I can't drink that. It's awful. But it looks like Pico Park is getting a sequel.
Yeah, great. More chaos to yell at your friends because this is pretty much it's pretty much a puzzle platformer that you can play with your buddies, and as you can see, all right, you can get a little nutty, especially when you have the rope game.
Yes.
And you're like hyper coordinating with each other, but it's so satisfying when like when after you're done sharing your brain cells together, you finally just get it all together. Which there is one game mode that's pretty much like there's one game mode in there that's like pretty much like sharing a brain cell. Because it's like,
yes.
Did you ever play that one? The one where it's like you jump and then it turns to the next person. That next person has a jump. Do you remember that one?
No.
Yeah. So like you're all like fused together, and then when you press the jump button, it automatically switches to the next person, and the next person has to press jump to switch to the next person.
Oh, that sounds chaotic as fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty much sharing a brain cell. And then Shovel Knight is this was actually revealed a little while ago, but it's getting a re-release. With pretty much everything on it, like all the DLC and stuff they're getting for it. I don't know what the hell this is. Europa. Go back to Shovel Knight. There you go. Yeah. So Shovel Knight. This game's absolutely great. This was released 10 years ago, but 2014. Yeah, this was my game of the year for 2014 because I remember this game distinctly. I remember this game being amazing when I played it. So it's getting a full re-release with updated graphics and all the content, and I think I was getting like some new content. You also play as like any new character. You can play as any character in the campaign now. Because before it was like each character had their own dedicated campaign, but now you can just play whichever character in any campaign you want, and it doesn't really matter. Now this game also looks really, really charming. This one's the Plucky Squire. This will another showcase that we saw. But as you see, it's like a storybook. You play as a little knight in a storybook, and then there's sections of it where you can go 3D. So, if you see it here. Nope.
Oh, yeah, no, I did see it. It was in the beginning. He kind of like popped out of the storybook.
Yeah. So, like, there's certain like sections of the books you can pop out of to go 3D. And it's pretty much, it takes place like all in like one bedroom, like some kid's bedroom, and like you're in the storybook, and then you can go out into the real world, I guess, and you can use this to help you get an item that you need to advance the book. Okay, yeah, it's a really charming game. I really hope that's good because it's going to be coming out this month actually, and then just a few weeks. Just like literally fucking everything else that's coming out.
Yeah.
Because everything's coming out in September. Everyone's like, all right, just release everything in September. And then, of course, Pizza Tower, they announced for the Switch.
Yep.
Which I'm sure this is cool news for you. I mean, it would be cool, I guess, if you didn't have the Steam.
Yeah, if you didn't have
the Steam version.
Deck.
Yeah, but this has new characters. So can you play as multiple characters? And
Yeah. You could play as fuck, I forgot the guy's name, but he's like the he's the other dude. Yeah, that guy. I forgot his name. All I know is Pepino Pizza.
Oh, isn't it something also like equally stupid?
Probably.
probably...
Perhaps.
Then they also announced Tetris Forever, which has like a ton of different versions of Tetris. Like you can pretty much play like almost every single version of Tetris.
There's been I can't tell you how many iterations there have been of Tetris over the years, and now they're all available in one pack, which is great.
I mean, it's like it's like the highest selling game like all time. One of the highest selling games of all time.
Understandably so. And honestly, out of all of like these types of games, because there's Galaga and Pac-Man and stuff, Tetris is my favorite out of all of them. Like I actually have it on my phone, and I love Tetris.
Yeah, no, it's a quintessential game. Everyone has to play it.
Yes.
At least once, and everyone has pretty much played. Like even people who don't like video games have played Tetris, and they like Tetris because it's just a fun puzzle game. Although it's amazing that thinking back on that kid that actually beat Tetris.
Yes.
That's crazy because like it took like 40 years and so someone to beat Tetris. All right, and then this game is what? What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say they're gonna make a movie about him later.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Oh no, I'm just saying like.
Oh, I made that up. Okay.
Yeah, I made that up. Oh, it'll be true later, maybe.
I made it the fuck up.
My source says I made it the fuck up. But anyway, you were saying.
No, it's like the last game I kind of wanted to highlight because there's a lot of games on here. We don't really have time to go over all of them, but this game's called Star Overdrive, and it's like an adventure game, like action adventure game, but like you have like a hoverboard and like you can fly around on the hoverboard like in these big open desert landscapes. Actually, it's kind of like Zelda-ish now that I think about it. Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Breath of the Wild-ish, but you get like cool surfboards and stuff that you can use to fly across the desert, solve puzzles. This looks like a really interesting game. This was outside of Perils in the Sky. This is one that looks pretty freaking interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree, and I think there's some element of Zero G because like his jumps were kind of slow, and also like he just looks like he falls pretty slow.
Probably. It could just be a floaty game, but we'll have to see. Hopefully, wait, what is it?
Oh yeah, and then of course.
Is it okay? 2025. Sometime 2025.
Fuck, what's the name of that worm from?
Sarlacc?
Damn it!
Or you mean Doom?
From Dune.
They just called them worms. I forgot what. They did have a name,
no,
but I forgot what the name was. It was some weird ass name.
Hang on, let me see. Ah, Shai-Hulud.
Shai-Hulud. Okay, cool. That's a mouthful.
Oh, I was gonna say Lisanagai.
Lisanagai, yeah, no.
Lisanagai.
All right, man. Well, on that note, you want to sign us off?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of 2 Bar Connection. We really appreciate you guys sticking around despite all of our technical difficulties. Please leave a like and a subscribe down below. And leave a comment down for any stories that you want us to cover or any games that you recommend us to play as well. When we're available, of course, on YouTube. That's the best way to watch us. But you can also catch us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify as well. Then thank you very much.
All right, so once again, sorry for the technical issues that we had. I don't know why the internet went to shit today, but it just did. But hey, man, we powered through it. So with all that being said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Bye, everybody.